Seven o'clock, it's time to call our meeting to order. Can we please call order?
Stein,
Present.
Harvey,
Present.
Surratt,
Here. Here.
here, here,
Here.
Stein, here, Mr. Hauser,
Here.
for the Buddhist.
Here. Okay. Would you all like to stand for the invocation by Ms. Line, please?
Lord, we thank you, God, how good and kind you are. Lord, we thank you for your faithfulness and your demonstrated kindness and goodness to our city, Lord. You protect us day in and day out from dangers from within and without, Father. And Lord, we thank you, God, say that blessed is a city whose God is the Lord. So we invite you here tonight, Lord, let your presence permeate this place, oh Lord. We thank you, God, for every person here, Lord, and we thank you for the destiny that's in their lives. Thank you, Lord, for your wisdom, and Lord, clothe us with understanding. Lord, and we thank you, Lord, and we submit ourselves to you this night that, Lord, let our thoughts, meditations of our heart, and our words be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance by Danny Lures from fifth grader from Johnny Flynn.
I don't know who to start, but like.
Go ahead.
Good.
Go ahead.
And
Pledge allegiance to the flag. To the republic. Thank you, Danny. Next on the agenda is caucus. That's time for council to discuss anything on the agenda. Do we have anything tonight? Mr. President, Mr. Marmy.
I'd like to excuse Mr. Ellington.
Second. A motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lane. Excuse Mr. Ellington. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Halvin.
I need to abstain on resolution 23-44A.
Okay. All right, anything else? Okay. Next is the minutes of the April 17th, 2023 minutes. Do I have a motion? Motion. Second. Motion by Mr. Labuda, second by Mr. Barker. All in favor? Say aye. Opposed? Passed 10-0. Next, appointments, there are none. This meeting, next is reports of standing committees. Finance and service without objections will be received and filed. Reports from city officials, there are none this meeting. Communications, there are none this meeting too. Next, we have comments from citizens. This is your time to say what's on your mind. It's not a debate. It's not a question and answer. I ask you to be respectful, no personal attacks. And you have 3 minutes. And when the timer goes off, I ask you to please be seated. If you can't be seated, then we'll ask you to be removed. So do we have anybody tonight? Good.
They could go first if they'd like.
Good. I'll need you guys' name and address for the record.
Hi, City Council and guests here tonight. Thank you for allowing me to submit my suggestion for the Easy Street Code. My name is Shelby A.B. Hopkins. I live at 45 North Front Street, Newark, Ohio. Today I stand before you asking you to consider something to bring pride to the Easy Street Code. The park is much more inviting place to be. Just recently, it was used for a bluegrass concert and picnic get together. It's great to see these wonderful things happen. These possibilities are endless of what fun and creative uses for the park. We have heard so many compliments on how nice, clean, and safe the park is, and we're continuing to get.
We've all looked and haven't been able to find the proper name for the park, so I would like to propose the name of Hope Park for Easy Street Park. Mrs. Blind and everybody thinks it fits the park so well because it has always been a hope for the park to become safe and fun for everyone. And also to do what I can to make sure the park and the city of Newark is the best that it can be. Hopefully this is just the park. Lastly, I have to show my gratitude to the following people because without them, the park couldn't be as good as it is now. First and foremost, a huge thank you to Mrs. Blind, and because without her, none of this would be possible. Also, thank you to Basic Tree Service for the help with the cutting and removal and all the other ways they have provided is greatly appreciated. Also, thank you to the Boy Scouts for their help. They did an amazing job. And the city for holding a special way. And also thank you to Shackelford's Disposal for bringing a dumpster for us to have a place to put the trash to be. Last but certainly not least, all the very hard workers and numerous volunteers and police department. They have been working hard to keep the park safe. Everyone has been amazing with the hard work and sweat. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my idea for the park. Take care and have a good night.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening. I'm Dr. Sharon Parsons. I live at 829 Eau Claire Avenue, Bexley, Ohio. I have a son who is buried at Cedar Hill Cemetery. I bought the plot at Cedar Hill Cemetery because I didn't want to have him in a sterile environment. I wanted him in a place that showed love. I saw other cemeteries that had flat stones on the ground. I wanted him to be able to have stone. And I wanted his friends, who are not all of the Christian faith, to be able to come and to honor him in a way according to their own religion. Many of them are Jewish. They come to his stone and they leave a stone or a token. In reading your new policy, I see that anything that falls on the ground now belongs to the cemetery. I can't tell you how upset I am. Not only did I lose my son, but now you're telling me I can't grieve in a manner that I want to grieve in. Can't honor my son the way I want to honor him. And when I first heard about this policy, I thought, gosh, it must be a money issue. There must be a problem with not having enough money to maintain the cemetery. I'm involved in city politics in Columbus. So I went onto your website and I found your latest financial document that was posted by your auditor. And in it, I was surprised to find that there is a cemetery fund, and in it, there is more than $1,400,000. So I'm a little concerned about why is this happening? Why is the culture of this cemetery being changed without asking anyone? I certainly didn't receive anything in the mail. I received no notice. I had to hear it from other people. Why is this? So if there is a fund for the cemetery, and if this fund contains this much money, I'm a little concerned at how this money is being spent. Can we not have enough maintenance people? Are there too many people at the top? As a concerned person, I would like access to the financial records of the Cedar Hill Cemetery for the last 10 years. And I would like to see how things are being run. I just don't think this is right. And I can't tell you, as a grieving mother, how hard it is to hear that when I come from out of town, I'm not here in town. Somebody knocks something off, something gets thrown down. I can't run over there and take care of it. Why are we having to deal with these things? Don't you have important things in this city that need to be run? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Also, I can leave you my email address if the financial records are sent electronically. If they need to be dealt with in person, then I will assign an agent to pick them up.
Okay, thank you.
Rochelle Bullen Smith, 237 Violet Village. I've been thinking a lot about the cemetery and how the public has been treated about this. I am in teaching in the past. When some of my students went through grieving processes, we planted trees for them with their friends and did a ceremony and had memorial plaques placed for them. It was very helpful for the students that went through that. And when they went on to the next school, I had suggested a project where the kids did a memorial walk with footstones that were decorated by the students. And it also was a very therapeutic process. At our home, we have made a number of footstones as tributes to people that we love. And we make them in such a way that we can mow over them. They're embedded into the ground. Some of them have messages, some of them have other markings, some are painted. They've been different things at different times. The thing is, they are mowable. There are people that when they buy a very expensive cemetery plot, they don't have a lot of money left that year. And they often, and we've experienced it ourselves where we couldn't afford a memorial the first year. In fact, that's custom for a lot of people and a lot of religions. I have seen at some of the local funeral parlors where they have pet memorials. They have some at Wilson's. Again, they're personal. One can personalize them. And I'd like to suggest that it's an option for some people to decorate their things. I think it would be possible to embed things into them. I think it would be possible. When I went to the Daffodil Show recently
Got 10
in
seconds.
Granville. Excuse me?
Got 10 seconds.
Okay. When I went to the Daffodil Show, they had one as a tribute to one of the people who had been a volunteer. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak at this time? Good.
I'm her mother. She's 14. My name is Megan Persley and she is Adeline Grace. We live at 1705 Washington in Heath. And she just wanted to speak about the cemetery issue in regards to her little brother who's buried there.
So my brother Garrett Grace is buried at Cedar Hill Cemetery, and yesterday was his 13th birthday. In the past years, we would leave like little statues for him that were in the ground, and we'd leave like a thing that said "I love you, brother" or something in there as like a little present or whatever. We have in place to make his grave look nice for his birthday. Sometimes I would give him like little presents and bury them under so the rocks or moss, whatever we have in there. But this year was different. We weren't allowed to put anything new or anything on his grave as a gift. We just had to leave his grave cold and lifeless. I don't remember seeing my brother because I'm 14. Because I was 1.5 when he passed away. When I was little, I would give him little trinkets and the rocks and talk to him and his grave and the rest of Angel's Circle. His grave and the rest of Angel's Circle is now lifeless. Like, there's nothing up there anymore. And I just wanna know, like, everybody else can have a birthday and get like gifts and presents and stuff, so why can't they? Another thing I want to touch on is last council meeting, Ms. Pasnick commented. Her comment was, we did not throw anything away. And I'm not calling anybody a liar, but that statement is false. My mom and I found 70% of my little brother's items in the trash, not broken, just laying there. And we were told the wind just blew them away. We're given no warning to come pick them up, which we would have, but they were just gone. If you don't mind, I would like to show you a picture of all those things. Am I allowed?
Good.
So that's just one of his little angels that has been sitting on his grave for the past almost 13 years. It never blown away, never done nothing. It was just in there. I hope we can meet in the middle and find a situation about this. Taking away many many people grieve, because grieving is a long and painful process. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? Need your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Carla Watson. I live at 15 River Street, 7th Ward, Newark. I'm here to ask for. I live at 58 River Street, and Kirby Willis has given me citations, non-compliance, of things that have gone on at this house since I've been there. My name was last June, and he has managed to give me at least 2 or 3 of these a week with fines on them. I live on Social Security, with benefits. I cannot afford to pay a $450 fee. These covered more than $1,000. You know, you want me, I'd like to exactly, let me know what I have to do to comply. Because I've complied to the things you wanted done and still not enough for him. I really want to help you. ASAP. I got things I have to show you. Evidently, nobody else knows that. I just want this attention. You need to pass me down again, but I'm sure they're on record somewhere here. This is just a few. And he does not knock at the door. He does not put it in my mail slot. He leaves it somewhere. So I don't know how many I've had. I think they're blown away.
Okay. Is there anything else?
I would like to be able to apply for the help or something
yeah.
to apply, you know.
Couple of us will talk to you after the meeting. Okay, all right. We'll make sure you get that back.
All of them. Too.
Yeah. Anybody else at this time?
I just want to follow up with my daughter. I'm Megan
Name
Persley.
and address again, please.
I'm Megan Persley, 1705 Watson Road, apartment 4, Ohio. As my daughter stated, my son is buried at the cemetery, so Cedar Hill Cemetery in Angel Circle. He has been there for 13 years. His way we've decorated has been a little bit different throughout the years. About 4 years ago, I went down to the office. I spoke to a gentleman, I'm not sure of his name. He suggested I put up a border around, so I put up a stone border, because he said they'd be able to mow around it. And I took everything out, put plastic down, put rocks on the inside of the border, and then I put all his items on the inside. They were like that for 4 years. We went up every year around April 30th for his birthday to decorate or to make sure, like, if it needed more rocks or things needed tuned up or, you know, whatever. And then we kept an eye on it throughout the year. We did things for his birthday. That was our we eat cupcakes up there, we bring balloons, we throw our party at his grave. We did yesterday, we took balloons, but that was about all we could do. It was very different. My issue is I had a friend go up on March 31st and check his grave because I was told that things had been removed. They were removed. There was nothing left on my son's grave. The stones are there, the rocks are there, the headstones are there. That's it. Everything else is gone. So I called and asked, and I was told they were probably wind damaged and thrown away. I showed up to the council meeting on April 3rd, which Chance stated that they were not, or that they only wind damaged items or sun damaged items were thrown away. On April 4th, I went to the cemetery. I found my items. 2 were in the dumpster. The rest were beside the dumpster. I found a lot of other people's items. I have all kinds of pictures. I found the flags in the barrels on the ground. On April 5th, I went back up because I took my items, but I put everybody else's in crates and we stacked them around so that people could go get their stuff. And we notified people via Facebook. So I went to go check on them. I saw Chance. I had a conversation with her. I let her know about the flags. I showed her pictures. She told me that that's how they're destroyed. So she did know of that as of April 5th, even though she stated at the last council meeting that she did not know of that. My concern is my son's items are missing. I did get about 70% of them back, but they were all taken off before April 1st. And my other concern is I've had multiple conversations where Chance has told me or did one thing and then came here and told and did another to you guys. And I don't think she should be in the position that she's in. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? You have 3 minutes, sir.
My name's Lauren Barber, 424 Thomas Avenue, Newark. And I was speaking to a dear friend of mine that's an attorney for the Ohio Attorney General's office. And she said, I'm doing this all wrong. And I need to say why I'm here, show why I'm here. And I don't agree with it. I shouldn't have to do it. But she insisted to show you guys why I went to Cedar Hill Cemetery and how you can end up at Cedar Hill Cemetery. So I haven't made this about me. It's about me. It's my daughter who was murdered. And so that's my help. It's not anybody else's. Everybody has their help here that we live. And I don't like talking about it. I don't like being forced to come here. But I did had to come. So that's what brought me there. And I want to point out there were 1,068 drunk driving deaths in Ohio last year. 1,068. That could be your child, your grandchild, your spouse. You might end up at Cedar Hill Cemetery instead of, that can never happen to me. So that's what makes it real. But here's the point. For 2,769 days, I've gone up to that cemetery and I've sat with my daughter. Quiet. I don't talk about it to anybody. 2,707 years, 7 months, 0 days. I looked at it on the phone. I've sat there quietly with her. In the last 7 years, you think of the weather we've had, the storms, snow, windstorms, freezing cold. I go sit there, okay? I don't bother anybody. My daughter doesn't bother me or bother anybody. There's nothing hanging off my grave, her grave. So imagine you do something the same day, every day.
You have 30 seconds, sir.
And well, I can't sum up my daughter, a murder in 180 seconds, but thank you for reminding me. The fact that after I went there every day, enough time for one of you to have a child and raise them to 2nd grade. That's a long time. That's a long time that I've been practicing something. Now imagine, and this is what the attorney wanted me to tell you. My daughter was in a home on the day that someone decided to murder their mother. So he went in the living room, he grabbed a family gun, went in the living room, he shot her in the eye. And then she says, call 911 to her son. He shot her in the head again. My daughter's in another room. She heard this, so she's waiting. This man coming toward her with a gun, and he grabbed her by the back of her hair and put one right here, through her head. And then when she fell, he put another one in her head. And so presenting me with that, I had to go to Cedar Hill Cemetery, and the reason I went to Cedar Hill Cemetery, and I want to point out, we're talking about a small percentage of graves here. This 33,000 thing, this is a small percentage of people in one area. And they sold me a gravesite. And the reason I said, take me over here. This was the place where these were young people. There were flowers. It was a warm place, as warm as you can get for dead people. Life, there was life there. There were pinwheels. So what do? I buy 4 plots, okay? I buy real estate based on the presentation that was given me that day, okay? No one would stand there. This is the neighborhood that this city sold me. There was nothing, especially after 89 years. There have been 4 generations of people that have come into the cemetery and had the dignity to keep it the same way for 80. I don't want to hear about the rule doesn't exist. When
Okay, you need to wrap it up. You need to wrap it up.
And so anyway, she was in the wrong time, wrong place to wrong time. So after 2,769 days, I'm sitting there and somebody walks up to me. And I want to point this out. She wasn't allowed to have a funeral because murder was still loose. So she was deprived of her life. Then we had to agree to a private, don't tell anybody when she's being buried. So she didn't have friends when she, like, you guys don't want to hear, you guys don't care about that. She didn't have anything. She was cheated out of everything. So 7 years later, somebody walks up to me and says, she can't have that life.
Sir,
But what would you
sir,
think?
you need to wrap it up. I
Okay.
gave you more than 3 minutes.
Are you being paid, sir, to listen to me?
Hey,
Are you
listen,
being paid?
there are rules in this council
Okay.
chamber, and I gave you more
Yeah.
than,
I know you
and
have
you've been
very
here every
good,
meeting.
you've been very
You've
good.
been here every meeting.
Okay,
So I'm gonna ask you,
okay,
you have another opportunity later on in the meeting. You wanna
Okay.
come back to speak,
that's fine.
okay? Sir,
Yeah,
please take a seat.
I can't put this into
Please, no,
see, well, let me
please.
say, if someone would listen before, I wouldn't have to go in this.
We listen to you every, let's go, please.
3 minutes, let's go.
That's why we're here.
Have a seat, please.
We have rules.
All right, we're here to talk against dictatorship.
It's not
And you know what?
dictatorship. Look at the council rules.
You know what? We pay you 180 seconds. Okay, that's dictatorship. Okay, you guys are all really into it.
So,
It's disgraceful.
anybody else?
Susan Galtieri, 400 Senior Drive, Newark, Ohio. I yield my 3 minutes to Warren Barber.
Don't work that way. Don't work that way.
Is that in the rules?
Don't work that way.
Where's the rule?
We're not. Listen, can you guys either be seated, or I'm gonna ask you two to be removed.
It's disrespect.
It's not
Why
disrespect.
can't I yield my 3 minutes? to Ms.
She's gonna
Can-
talk for
can-
3 minutes.
Can you ask these two, please, to
Either
move?
have a seat or we can go outside.
Yes.
That's your options. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak at this
Thank you
time?
for the question, council.
My name is Crystal Hutchinson. I live at 74 North 8th Street. I'm here because my son, my mother, my father, 3 of my nephews, and my grandmothers are all buried at Cedar Hill Cemetery. This is my son. He would be turning 18 years old tomorrow. And I can't even so much as go and leave my son a balloon, any type of decoration to celebrate his birthday, because she took that from me. I lost my son once. December 3rd, 2021, I left my house for 20 minutes, take his girlfriend to a doctor's appointment. I come home and my son is dead in his own bed, laying beside his six week old daughter.
What do I explain to her as she grows up that she can't even go leave anything? Because it's unsightly to Chance, a little plaque that says, I love you, that is ugly to her. And then, you know, I abide by, you know, her rules about the live flowers. Then why do I go and I plant live flowers at my son's grave? And I go up there to this. They dug my flowers out of the ground and broke them with the excuse that they needed it for a foundation for my son's headstone. Where my son is buried, it has to be a 2-plot headstone, which the foundation is 4 feet long. So it covers my son's grave and my stepdad's grave next to him. So why is my son's grave the only one tore up? Why not 4 feet long? And to this day, where's the foundation that was supposed to be dug? There isn't one. So what was the urgency for her to dig up my flowers that she said I could have? And then tell me they moved them? No, digging them up and moving them is one thing, but you broke them. The secretary at the cemetery agreed to fix my son's grave and replace my flowers until she stuck her nose in the conversation and told me, no, they will not be. She couldn't have notified me. She couldn't have notified the owner, my stepdad, that, hey, we need to put a foundation down. Can you come up and move the things that you do have? No, she couldn't do that. But the excuse is, I don't have your contact information. But she looked it up right in front of me and my stepdad's information is right there on the computer. So I want to know, where's my son's foundation? That you dug my son's grave up for and broke my son's flowers, live flowers that it was agreed we were allowed to have. So I can't even leave my son flowers for his 18th birthday.
Thank you. There will be another opportunity later on the agenda. Next is ordinance on the second reading. There are none this time. Ordinance on the first reading, there are none this meeting. Next is resolution on the second reading, 23-33.
Resolution number 23-33 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Rath, Mr. Lang, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Ryan. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to apply for financial support from the state of Ohio 2023 Nature Works grant.
You heard the reading of resolution 23-33. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 23-33. Second.
Got a motion to adopt by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lane. Do we have any discussion? Will you please call it.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind. Yes. Mr. Harris.
Yes,
Ms. Hattiger.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
that passes 10-0. Next up is resolution 23-34.
Resolution number 23-34 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Rath, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Lang. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to prepare and submit an application to the United States Department of Justice for fiscal year 2023 cops hiring programs.
You heard the reading of 23-34. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 23-34. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy to adopt, second by Mr. Lane. Any discussion? Can you please call the roll?
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Rath,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind. Yes. Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Hattiger.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
23-34 passes 10-0. Next up is resolution 23-41.
Resolution number 23-41 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Barker, Mr. Marmy, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Lang. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service to advertise for bids and enter into contracts subject to the appropriation of funds for various construction projects.
You heard the reading of 23-41. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
make a motion to adopt 23-41.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Barker. Do we have any discussion? Can you please call the roll?
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Rath,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind. Yes. Mr. Harris.
Yes,
Ms. Hattiger.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
that passes 10-0. Next up is resolution 23-42.
Resolution number 23-42 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Rath, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Lang. Resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety for the City of Newark, Ohio, to reduce the lien previously placed against the property located at and known as 11 Moore Street, Newark, Ohio.
You heard the reading of 23-42. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr.
make
Marmy,
a motion to adopt resolution 23-42. Second.
got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Janine, please call the roll.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes,
Hattiger. Yes. Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
that passes 10-0. Next up, we have resolutions on the first reading, 23-43.
Resolution number 23-43 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Rath, and Mr. Lang. A resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
This will be held until our next meeting, where it'll be May 15th. And our last one on the agenda tonight is 23-44-A.
Resolution number 23-44A by Mr. Rath, Ms. Blind, Mr. Marmy, Mr. Barker, Mr. Lang. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service for the City of Newark, Ohio, to enter into a lease purchase agreement with Park National Bank for the lease purchase of 5 police cruisers for the Division of Police and declaring an emergency.
You heard the reading of 23-44-A. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath,
I'd like to make a motion to adopt 23-44A.
Second.
got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Barker to adopt 23-44A. Do we have any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath,
this is lettered A because we added the emergency clause in the committee meeting. The reason for the emergency clause is the vehicles that have been ordered previously en route. They needed money to pay for them sooner than anticipated.
any other discussion? Janine, please call the roll.
Mr. Lang.
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes,
Ms. Hattiger.
Abstain.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus.
Yes.
that passes 9-0 with one abstention. So next on the agenda is comments from citizens. Again, ask you to be respectful, no personal attacks. You have 3 minutes. Do we have any?
The last time I was here, I had talked about some of the law changes that are coming about in Ohio on reducing the rights of children and reducing the safeguards and the what age children can do what in the workforce. And since then, I have written a number of letters both to our state and federal government. And I was asked what council should do essentially. And I feel that council, in loving children too, have an obligation to make your stamps too, because when council does make policy. I have written letters. My husband has written letters. I've since found that Ohio is trying to pass something that changes the structure of the Board of Education to make it easier for these changes. I think this is tragic. I think a lot of kids are going to be hurt in the process. And I think it's up to every single citizen in our city to do something about it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Lauren Barber, 424 Thomas Avenue, Newark. Mr. Hall, last time I was here, I asked you if you could get the information together and justify the second position being created for superintendent, the workload, the business justification, et cetera. Do you have any information on that for me?
You can't, You can ask, but he's not gonna respond. It's not a question and answer.
When is that?
Before the meeting, after the meeting, always off.
We can talk off. Not publicly?
That's not a question and answer.
Oh,
You know that, sir.
no, I don't. Last time you said.
Sir,
it was our
you've been here
opportunity.
the last 3-4 meetings. You know
Okay,
that this
I'll let him sit there.
is not a debate.
Don't need an
and a
answer.
question and answer.
You're taking my time. Thank you, Mr. Harris. I asked the mayor for information. I have been here twice. I've listened to closing arguments from people. Not the only person, but the leader of this community that sat here. And has sat here for 2 meetings, not even a closing comment last time. Okay, you're driving a bus. Okay, I want to make it clear, Chance Patsnick is just someone, it's Mr. Hall and it's Mr. Rhodes.
No,
It's pushing
we're
this.
not going personal.
Excuse me, no, we're talking about the policy. You're interrupting, you're taking my time, Mr. Hall, Mr. Harris. Now, I've asked for this, citizens have a concern. You, as the mayor of the city, you haven't said a thing, okay? Haven't said a thing. I want to be clear, it's you and Mr. Rhodes that are allowing this only. You could have set up first meeting, oh gosh, this has gone a little too far. Let's take a look at this. Is Mr. Rhodes here today? Okay, Mr. Rhodes promised me 2 days ago I could have those night lights. So those night lights will be on my grave. I'm not recognizing that because I'm taking Mr. Rhodes' word for it. If he wants to say that didn't occur, please say it now. He said, Mr. Barber, you're not gonna have to fight for those lights. Great, I thanked him. And that's the way it's gonna be. As for permission to go in there for a steel border that we're all gonna go to a machine shop, have it cut, have it welded. Some 80-year-old woman's gonna do that. Yeah, we're all gonna do that. The border, there's no difference between that border and the borders that are all over the place like this. You can get these at Lowe's, whatever. They look really nice around the grave. This is a flat surface like a piece of metal. Trimming across that, mowing past that, or mowing through steel, there's no difference. So the policy is unacceptable to the citizens. It's not even close. Basically, all it did was nail down the rights to pillage graves. If we want this border, this out of reach for most citizens, we have to go ask permission at the cemetery. Permission. And I find that there's no one in that office of the character or integrity that I would ask their permission. Okay, I don't recognize authority unless it's moral authority. These games that are being played, it's 2 men letting us go. And of course, one, what can we do to him? It's not acceptable. Okay, so we want to make that clear. The respect shown to this community over this, I want to know why these 2 men dig in so hard. Now we can have a border. You can't put anything behind it. Thank you. We can get a border, nothing behind it. And if something topples off the grave, they're going to reach in that border and get it. Okay. The idea of the border, Mr. Marmee, as in your closing arguments last time, hey, we all need to follow rules. I mean, we're following rules. We're here to talk about the rules.
Let's wrap it up.
And the border, I didn't come here to say I wanted a border with nothing behind it. You guys missed the point. The border keeps your workers away. In the border is our life, is our little sentiments for these people, okay? That border solves everything. You don't have to go near it. There's no safety concerns. There's no maintenance concerns. Safety and maintenance, this is all about. What I'm hearing is, I don't like the way something looks now, okay? 89 years, 4 generations of people come in here, closing argument, closing statement.
Let's wrap it up.
Closing statement. Come in here and had the integrity for 89 years to keep that place the same way. Not one of these superintendents, managers, whatever, thought that what they wanted overrode the ability of hundreds of bodies buried there, hundreds of families, thousands, whatever, okay, until now. And as I said, my daughter was in the wrong place in that room. She couldn't have a funeral. She couldn't have this. Now she can't have a nightlight, okay? I'm standing there, someone comes up to me and says, oh, she can't have that now, okay? I don't recognize that, okay? Because no one with integrity that I recognize or respect is telling me that. Mr. Rhodes said I can have those lights. I'm gonna have those lights. I can tell you that. So I wanted to say, the policy is I spoke, that this should have been included. These types of things at Lowe's that are within reach of these people, whatever, $3. 70-year-old woman doesn't have to go to a machine shop.
Anybody else? Any city officials? Oh, Dan, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Sherry. Daniel Crawford, 163 South Second Street. I'll be very brief, I promise. So of course, in the past few weeks, or I should say, past like month or so, I've more listened than wanted to speak about this issue because honestly, I don't have anyone buried up there that I know of. And honestly, I was just wanting to listen to see what everyone was saying about everything. But here, the past couple of meetings, I have noticed something that I don't know, caught me kind of by surprise. In the past few years that I've been attending council meetings, I've never heard of an explicit rule of a time limit. Now, of course, it may have been recently adopted, or it may be just an interpretation of a rule that says it's up to the discretion of the council president. But I would like to know, and I may even file a formal request for information. What is the specific rule that states that it's 3 minutes or at the discretion of the president? And why is it only now being enforced? And one last thing I will say is it doesn't take 3 minutes to vote, and that is one thing everyone should remember.
Thank you. Any city officials? Oh, sir, you got something to say?
My name's Rodney Coble. I live at 1771 Summit Street, Heath, Ohio, and I have 4 generations of experience. You remember when I was probably maybe 5 or 6 years old, there was a sign hanging up there. It said, artificial stuff will remove after February, April, whatever. It said live flowers during summer, right? It didn't say how far you can come out, measure or whatever. Now you've got all this cremation. How many pots can you have run in there if you don't have anybody there underneath it? Where you gonna, how you gonna mark all these people's graves if they're all in plots? And there's nothing in a straight in a row, all right? And as far as another thing is, you guys dig down 6 foot deep, right, to bury somebody. The footer for the foundation for your tombstone is only 3 foot deep. Therefore, when you dig down, your tombstone settles because your footer settles because you guys do not compact that ground. That's why all your tombstones and stuff are over. I have pictures show. Can't hear your thing. Oh, let's see here. I'm not very. Computer. Here's the part back of my family days. You can see that. Now, this thing. I know. But as far as back in jail, right, as you can see, the mowers have hit them themselves. Yes. All right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about, it, all right? Now, as we go back through here, I don't know what I can pull with that. But there, this is a tombstone for me and my wife. All right, you can see I've got a lot of money. There ain't a damn thing hurting anything around the tombstone. That's why I decorate my family. All right, you show me anything that's been done around through there. I asked about putting down fabric, which is always by early April. All right. And then put mulch down over top of it, which is natural, right? What, how can I do that? That's what I'm asking, because Memorial Day is already passed. Usually I have flowers on, right? Mother's Day is coming up, right? They like to have flowers on my mother's and my grandmother's and my great grandmother and my great grandmother, before Mother's Day comes. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. All right, any city officials tonight?
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Motter. I'm the Director of Community and Development here in the city. I want to let the council know that we completed 2 very successful city cleanups. One on the south side of town a couple weeks ago, and another in the Hudson Avenue area, kind of spanned from Central Avenue to the west, down to Clinton Street to the east, all the way to Channel Street to the north, and to Route 16 to the south. It was great to see the community participation. We got a lot accomplished, and it was a great coordinated effort. There was our department, there was a property maintenance department. We had the South Newark Civic Association. Councilwoman Wine was very active. Councilman Hauser was very active in their wards. And Mr. Harris made a presence there. And it just is great for the community. And we made a real difference and cleaned up a lot of items that would have been left to the community to be cleaned up. We have another one coming up this month, May 20th, and we'll do the east side of town on that day. Second thing I want to comment on is to publicly say thank you and to recognize Councilwoman Sherry Hottinger. I've known Sherry for a very long time. I knew her when she was in her first terms here on City Council. She did a wonderful job. I was very proud to be serving on the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. When a change was made there, we made a very good hire in Sherry. She inherited a chamber that was in decline, quite honestly. Our membership numbers were dropping. And it was great to see Sherry come in. She was a great listener. She listened to what the members wanted and dug in, led her team to create the chamber that was rated 2nd, 3rd in numbers for the state of Ohio. Thank you. What you have done. You're a difference maker. You're great for our community of Newark. Newark's loss is going to be the state of Ohio's gain when you start your job with the Industrial Commission. But again, Sherry, thank you for everything you've done for our community. Thank you very much.
Any other city officials? Law Director?
Thank you, President Harris. A couple of things, Mr. Barber, your record request was reviewed by my office. I had a chance to review that today, and I will be getting the documents with the right to hopefully tomorrow. And Dr. Parsons, is that correct? If you could just wait afterwards, I will be here. Perfect. Thank you. And with that, I'll pass. Thank you.
The mayor.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming in, and certainly this is what the open public forum is about, sharing your ideas and concerns. I'd like to reach out and thank our engineering department for getting the bridge open on the west side of town this week. Alleviates a lot of congestion, and certainly from a police and fire standpoint, it is a plus in many ways. I'd also like to congratulate Sherry and thank her in many ways for serving on this board, and wish you the best.
Mr. Lang.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. First, Ms. Hawkins, thank you for coming in and sharing your passion for the park. It's really, really nice to see that, and I love your idea for the name, so hopefully that works out. Mr. Barber, you had asked of Personnel Committee previously what discussions had gone on, whether we had passed the Assistant Superintendent position. So I did look that up. It was Ordinance 2241A, and I have a copy for you. And I have a copy of the minutes as well, as passed by Personnel Committee October 3rd. And we had an amendment on the floor there to remove an unfunded crew leader position when we passed that. And then it was read at council on October 17th and then passed November 7th, last year. So happy to give you the minutes for that. Got a copy. If anybody else wants a copy of any of that, you can email Janine and we can get that out to you. I do appreciate everybody coming today. I think we're still trying to figure out how to navigate this. Ultimately it is up to the mayor, up to the superintendent, Director Rhodes, how to enforce the policy. And I am hopeful that they can find some flexibility in the policy to work with folks to give them something that they can work with. The continued comments, folks get up here and we sit, we're quiet. But that doesn't mean we don't care. That doesn't mean we're not working to try to find a solution. But ultimately, it is up to the administration to enforce that policy. But we are here to listen, and we will continue to listen and hope that those comments are heard. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Murray.
Thank you, Mr. President. I need to call Finance Committee meeting for March the 15th. I too want to thank everyone for coming out here this evening. I appreciate all the input. I'm hopeful that, like Mr. Lang has indicated, that this is going to be a work in progress, and maybe some flexibility will come about. Ideas are shared and changes are made based upon that. To say that council can make those changes, we cannot. It is, the administration is responsible for taking care of the cemetery and the policies that they are ruled by. And so I know that they are putting a lot of effort into making sure that the cemetery is a pleasant place to go to as far as cleanliness. And, we've had complaints over the years on the maintenance of it. And I know they're just trying to improve upon that. So I echo what Mr. Lang has indicated. I hope that with further communication down the road, if there is anything that can be done as far as leniency or improvements or anything along those lines, they're always going to be listened to. And if there's an issue with any of you getting that information, then that's where your council representative or any of us on council are willing to listen and to pass that on, move it forward, get it to the right department, whatever it may be, whether it's this issue or any other issue. That's what our responsibility is to help that communication channel. If there's anything I can do, I definitely will be there to assist. Finally, I want to thank Sherry for serving. I really appreciate everything that she brings to the table, her wisdom, her experience, and I wish her good fortune at the Industrial Commission. I know she will represent the state of Ohio and do a great job representing also us as far as just a Newark citizen who's going to do better for the state of Ohio. I know you're going to do a fantastic job, and I want to congratulate you on that. And with that, I pass.
Mr. Rath?
Thank you. I'll call a service committee meeting for May 15th. And obviously, I'm going to say thank you for the bridge. Having that bridge open on the west end of Newark is being short of a godsend. And impressive as well. That bridge went from concept to completion in under 8 months, and it was done by a city government. That's just impressive to me. So kudos to you for that. Sherry, thank you for everything that you've done. We appreciate your service, and look forward to the things that you're going to do in the future. And with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Rath. Mr. Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Sherry. I want to thank you for your service. Probably about as long as some people up here have been alive. You've been active in the community. Sorry. I was confused of being youngest. There's no. And so I'm very hopeful on the cemetery issue. Dr. Perkins, the cemetery and parks is one, division. So that's why the funds is, so high there. So it's not just the cemetery that has access to those funds. So it's all the parks in there. So I just want to clear that up. And then so today in the personnel committee, we established a ground maintenance position. So there will be 3 total ground maintenance, and it's a total of 10 employees in the parks and cemetery division. So we're going to get another person some help, so hopefully that'll help. And with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Mr. Parker?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I am not going to say what Colton said, Sherry. But Sherry, seriously, as I said to you the other day when we talked, I'm extremely happy for you. It's a great thing for the state of Ohio. for us, it hurts, but we're there behind you. We're supporting you. We really appreciate everything you've done on council in your time and this current council and in your previous times at council. So best of luck to you. And I know we will probably work together in the future. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. This issue is one that I hear about every day, and I am here to hear about it. And so, you know, when we leave tonight, it's not that this just stops. I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. We constantly have communication with the administration regarding different issues that are brought up. You know, we talk with Director Rhodes quite a bit on this. We've talked with Superintendent Pasnick about it. So we're taking in everything you're telling us and communicating that with them. And I just want to echo what Councilman Lang said, and Councilman Martin mentioned it. It is an administrative task. There's nothing that council legislatively can do, but we're advocating for what we hear. And so appreciate everybody coming in tonight. We really appreciate that, because again, if we don't know, we can't help. Want to just comment on one thing Councilman Ryan said. With the creation of that position tonight, that allows, we took one crew member off and put him 40 hours every week in the cemetery. That is his job. And so this new crew person will be going with the crew that he left while this gentleman stays in the cemetery. So we've got a 40-hour a week person dedicated to the cemetery now. And this new position will be created in 4 weeks completely. So just want to echo those statements. And then I want to congratulate Newark Catholic High School. They had a fundraiser over the weekend, their annual fundraiser for their operating fund, raised a little over $155,000, and the mayor was there, and Auditor Bub, Law Director Moore, and Service Director Rhodes. It was great to see a group of community people come together to raise money for the school. They also raised money that night for the SPICE program at Newark Catholic, which a lot of people don't know about. And it's something that happens in public schools a lot, where kids get assistance. And in private schools, that doesn't always happen. So Newark Catholic has a special fund for kids who need some more assistance. And just that night, we were able to raise right under $11,000 for that fund to help those kids. So it was a great night for the Newark Catholic community. And with that, I will pass, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Blunt.
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations. Honestly, I didn't know you were leaving, but congratulations on your new appointment. Shelby, I'm really proud of you. It takes a lot for, you know, a young lady or a young person to get up in front of a large group of people and speak. And you spoke very well. Congratulations. I want to compliment you on initiative. It's not something that is as common as we would like. Personally, she'll call me, are we going out today? Are we working today? Are we 7:30? I'll be pulling myself out of bed. Yeah, we're going to the park to work. And so, and most certainly, yes, she has vision, she has goals, and I want to compliment those young people that are coming out and taking their place in the world. In fact, all of you, by showing up tonight, are taking your place in some way. And that's really important. Ms. Bullen-Smith, I want to thank you for bringing that up. But again, this is an opportunity to run for school board. If children's rights are important to you, take your place. Take your place. Fight for the children. Fight for parents' rights. Things are changing so rapidly. Often we don't even know what's been legislated on a national level until we see the effects. And so as a city council here, yeah, we can do what we can from a lateral view, but again, take your place. There's opportunities for school board, there's opportunities to work in your school. Oh, sorry. And, yes, sir, yes, sir. But again, take your place. This is the big deal. Yeah, we need to definitely look out for our children. I'm with you on that. And as far as the graveyard, there are many opportunities yet to be had in this. And as like my, within the cohort has said, this is an administration decision. However, when you all come and submit your ideas, they're being heard. They're being heard, and there are opportunities to progress because customer service is an important facet of any business. And it's very important to listen. And I hear there's probably not a day goes by that I get a phone call or to hear a different opinion on a different facet. And as a person who spent time in customer service leadership, you're being heard. And it's good to take a situation and think in and out of the boundaries and think, where can we meet on this? And so I'd like to thank, again, you all for coming. It's very important. And Ms. Hutchison, are you still here? Or can I meet with you afterwards? Thank you. Thank you for your time. Again, thank you. So,
Thank you, Mr. Housel.
Thank you much, Mr. President. Just a quick thing to Sherry. I'm not gonna make you feel old.
too late.
It's older here. I just want to thank you so much for time we also on council together. and not very long, but I just really appreciate all the help that you've given me and just the leadership that you provide to council. I know we're all going to miss that, and I know you're still going to be around. You're not going anywhere, but just really appreciate all you've done for the city of Newark. And I also want to mention, and it's already been mentioned by Director Monner, but the Easton cleanup is May 20th. And you know, other people have already said it, but I was at the ribbon cutting for the Cherry Valley Bridge, and I love being out there, seeing the excitement from all the residents. We had cars honking as we were getting ready to cut the ribbon. It was just exciting to see the energy behind that. So I appreciate that. And you know, everyone who came out to speak on the cemetery. Now I know that it's already been said by a lot of council members up here, but your comments are being heard, and you know, along with a lot of other members of the council, we've been speaking with members of the administration and talking about the issue and talking through concerns with them. And so your concerns are definitely being heard. I'll pass.
Thank you,
Mr. President. I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Not an easy issue, but we appreciate your thoughts and sharing your stories and sharing the stories of your loved ones with us. Because again, as Mr. Parker said, we don't know those, we can't help. So I thank everyone for sharing those with us. Shelby, thank you for the idea on the park. I love the name, and I hope we're able to do that. Happy for the Cherry Valley Bridge coming into place. It's been a huge help. Went from a 10-minute commute to a 25-minute commute. And now they're back down to a 10-minute commute. They're very happy about that. That's a good thing. And then Sherry, I want to thank you for everything. It's been an honor to serve with you on council. We worked together in the past, but you will do a fantastic job on the Industrial Commission. All of you, I wish you all the best. Thanks for serving us. You've done a fantastic job. That I will pass.
Thank you. I have a couple of things here. First of all, I want to wish everybody, I'm gonna save you to last. Thumbs up. Yeah. Like to wish everybody happy Mother's Day is coming up. Thankful for all the mothers and all that you guys do for us guys, keep us all straight. I want to talk about the cemetery for a minute. I want to throw out some positive things. There was a few lots bought in the last couple of weeks, and the reason they said they bought the lots was because of the rules. They like the enforcement of the rules, so that not only are we getting, you know, this side from it, we're also getting positive sides about the cemetery. So I want to make that clear. And I also would like, I don't know if you guys have read rules of any other cemeteries. Some of them are, you only get 6 inches. You get no borders, you don't get hardly anything on these other cemeteries. And this one here, it says they have a board and the board has the right to require all personnel coming into the cemetery to obey all rules, regulations, adopt these rules and regulations may be changed without notice to any owner. So, I mean, at least when we're making change, we're trying to let you guys know. So, so Cedar Hill is not as bad as you think it is. I know it's just, it all happened at once, but if you get time, look up other cemeteries.
I have, sir.
Sir. No.
Well, can you tell us about the other cemeteries?
No, you know the rules. Please go. You know the rules. You cannot speak at this time. If you want us to try to work with you, you gotta work with
I
us
don't
and
like people
respect
being
this.
misled.
You're not being misled when I
You only
just
said
read
half the
rules.
story.
Ask him to go. Ask him to go. Please go.
I'll take the break.
We can't have it. You can't act like this and come in here. Come on, go. No, not a word.
Work together.
Outside.
But anyway, I just wanted to throw that side out there. Also, I want to remind everybody that Thursday is National Prayer Day. It's going to be here at noon on the steps of City Hall. That'll be May 4th. And I want to thank Sherry for her council time, and Mr. Marvy said all you've done, and we've learned a few things from you, and appreciate that and wish you the best. And I'm just finally, you got a position that you're going to outdo your husband in. So, and with that, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. I don't know what to say. I'm experienced, okay? I have a little more experience than you might. Just happens to have a little more years on you. I truly enjoy public service. I always have. I always will, and that is my goal in everything that I do, whether it's in the public sector or the private sector or friendships or acquaintances or whatever. I really do enjoy helping people. It doesn't mean my idea of helping someone is everybody else's idea of helping someone, but that's where my heart is. I recently heard one of our pastors at our church say that when you interact with someone, you change that person's life forever. And sometimes I don't think we realize that every single interaction you have with someone changes them. It could be a good interaction or it could be a bad interaction, as we have seen both. But I truly hope that if you had interactions with me, that I have been more positive than negative, and hope that I will continue to have positive interactions with all of you. And my parting request of council members is that you continue to listen to the citizens of Newark and continue to make Newark a better place in terms of raising a family and working here. And I love the city, and I think it's a great city, and we're very, very fortunate to have people that care about the city. So I got to say, drop.
Our next meeting will be May 15th. And do we have a motion to adjourn? Second by Barker, second by Lang. All in